Hello and welcome to Take on Tech. We are here yet with another interesting show just for you. Later on, we'll be having a discussion with Githaiga on some of the key technological developments that have taken place in the year 2021. But before that, we'll be keeping you up to date as always with all the tech news that has been happening around the world and another interesting Tech of the Week feature coming up. This and much more only here on Take on Tech. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1 or on our social media fan page. That is at Take on Tech. My personal handle is at Stephanie Ayieta. In today's question, we are asking you, what are some of the changes that you foresee on social media platform Twitter after Elon Musk's takeover? Talk to us. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1. In our tech news, Kenya's leading electrical vehicle maker Opibus rebrands itself to Rome in order to align with the company's vision for the future. And internationally, Tesla is still making profit despite raising its prices. This seems not to have dented its demand. This and much more in our tech news roundup. Opibus has changed its name to Rome. According to the tech company, the rebrand follows a strategic shift in its vision. The CEO, Philip Lovstrom, says that this is a milestone that brings them closer to realizing their ambition as leaders in providing electric mobility solutions and energy systems for the African region. Optibus, now Rome, was among the earliest entrants into the local electric vehicle manufacturing sector, which has now attracted players such as Noperide. The company set shop in 2017 with a focus on the public service vehicles market. It is a Swedish-Kenyan technology company headquartered in Kenya that develops, designs, and manufactures electric vehicles to help transition the African continent toward a future of more sustainable transportation. Rome employs nearly 100 experts in various fields. Products under the new brand name include Rome motorcycles, Rome transit buses, Rome energy, charging, and Muse. In November last year, the company raised $7.5 million in equity and grant funding, the largest ever in an electric mobility company in sub-Saharan Africa. Tesla has been raising prices. In spite of this, profits at Elon Musk electric car company soared to $3.3 billion in the first 3 months of the year as customers proved willing to pay more. The firm's deliveries were up 68% and would have been higher if not for supply chain shortages, the firm said. Tesla has been pushing to expand, opening new factories in Texas and Germany in recent weeks. The firm delivered more than 310,000 cars in the first 3 months of the year, and in a conference call, Chief Executive Elon Musk predicted the company would produce 60% more cars during the year as a whole compared to last year. Mr. Musk said Tesla expects to mass-produce a robotaxi with no steering wheel or pedals by 2024. While Tesla's shares rose more than 5% in after-hours trade, following strong results, some investors worry Mr. Musk may be distracted from his focus on the electric maker as it expands. This is in regard to his unpredictable moves. He recently bought Twitter for $44 million. The rise in Tesla's stock market value in recent years has made Mr. Musk the world's richest man. How do you feel about connecting with your fitness instructor from the comfort of your home, enabled by a smart fitness mirror? This is a technology that enables you to interact on a one-on-one basis as if you were there together. Seems out of this world, but it is already being applied in the UK and we have it covered here in our Tech of the Week. Gym goers who like to admire the reflection in the 4-length mirrors have something to be excited about with the latest trend in home exercise: smart fitness mirrors. These are 6 feet or so tall, vertical, high-tech mirrors that contain a computer, hook up to the internet, and also work as a video screen. The idea is you connect with an online trainer who appears on the mirror along with your reflection. On the more advanced devices, the mirror is fitted with cameras and speakers so the trainer can observe your movements and suggest tweaks and changes. Users have the option of live one-to-one lessons or group classes with a number of workouts, including weights, cardio, and yoga. On the simpler mirrors, the video and sound is just one way. You can see and hear the trainer, but not the other way around. Lessons are typically not live. Instead, you access a library of streamed workout videos. Whether you go for a higher spec model or more basic offering, you typically pay at least $1,300 for the mirror, and then a monthly subscription on top. The touchscreen mirrors are also typically fitted with numerous sensors connected to an artificial intelligence, which can give feedback on your movements and suggest improvements. We now join Grace Githaiga for an interesting discussion on some of the key technological developments that took place in the year 2021. She is joined by John Walubengo, a lecturer at Multimedia University. Let's listen in.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that introduction. Welcome to the interview section of Take on Tech. In today's program, we are looking at what were the key ICT developments or technology developments in 2021. And in the studio, to help us look at those developments, we have John Walubengo, who is a lecturer at Multimedia University. Karibu sana, Mr. Walubengo. You are not a stranger on this program, so we are very glad that you have come back again. Now, we are going to be looking into that, and I think the first question I want you to tell us, what are some of the key highlights for you in 2021?
Okay, for me in 2021, from a digital perspective, there were several things we could talk about. First and foremost is the fact that Kenyans went sort of in a big way on social media. Today you have people with social media accounts on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook that have millions of followers. So from a social perspective, there seems to be, if you want, a social movement on the digital space. But on the legal perspective, we experienced some rulings in court, specifically the ruling on Huduma number, where they mentioned, the judge mentioned that the Huduma number as currently implemented skipped one component of the Data Protection Act, which is that the government did not carry out what is known as a privacy impact assessment. So they needed to do that in order to comply with the Data Protection Act.
And what is a privacy assessment?
The privacy impact assessment is basically a risk analysis to say we are collecting millions of personal data of Kenyans. What are the risks thereof that we have created? Because if you don't think of the risks and the threats that are facing your database, then it means the hackers will have an easy day. So it's an important step whenever you're collecting private or personal data of such amounts that you think through the risks so as to come up with countermeasures and demonstrate to the data commissioner that you've thought through the risks and these are the countermeasures that you're putting in place to mitigate those risks. So the government didn't do that, and the court found them to be in violation, and they were informed that they must be able to do that in order to comply. On the economic side, last year the government implemented the so-called digital tax. So most digital products you buy online, they would have a form of digital tax. If you're buying software, you know, software is non-tangible. It won't come through Kenya Ports Authority where you can, you know, contain it and say you have to pay tax before we allow it into the country. So digital products like books, software, now attract some tax that the government will collect. That was a major development that was a bit contentious, but there are pros and cons to that because the government has realized the economy is moving to the digital space, and if they also don't move their tax regime on the digital space, then their revenue bases will continue dwindling. On the
before we go on to the next one, how does this digital tax work, you know, for the ordinary person? Because I'm wondering if, for example, I go onto Amazon. Amazon is a foreign country. It's in a foreign country, it's a foreign company. So how then does KRA
get in touch with them?
In touch with them and impose this digital tax on a product that I will buy online?
Okay, so if what they have done is simply alert all the players in our digital space in the Kenyan territory and say this is our new law, Financial Act, and it specifies, I think it was 14% digital tax on digital products that you as Amazon are selling into our territory. So they have notified them. And most of these companies, including Netflix, have acknowledged the notification and simply passed the cost to you and I. So if you are paying 1,000 shillings per month for Netflix, now you'll pay 1,200. Even for DSTV, there's like a small increment on your monthly charge, which now these foreign companies will surrender to KRA. The risk they face as foreign companies of not complying is that we can block them from this space. Yeah, it comes at a cost, but it has happened. I mean, Nigeria just 3 months ago blocked Twitter for 6 months from their space. Yeah, so most of these digital companies may not want to fight over that. They will comply and surrender the tax. After all, they've just collected from me and you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So on the political space, we have seen many, as we are in the electioneering period, but it started last year. We've seen increased activity of political players within the digital space, whether they're using bloggers or they're just using Facebook tools or Twitter tools to engage mostly the youth communities into their political messaging, and that is going to increase. But the worry here for me is that misinformation is now much easier. With digital tools, you can actually take pictures of things that didn't exist and then say, hey, this is how our meeting was. You can see millions of Kenyans are listening to us, but in reality, maybe that politician had only maybe 10 or 5 villagers in that meeting. But with digital tools, you can multiply those 5 people to appear like there were millions. So that is going to increase, but it also increases misinformation.
The interview section takes a short break, and today we are talking about some of the key technological concepts or debates and issues that were critical in 2021. And in the studio we have John Walubengo, who is a lecturer at Multimedia University. Please continue following us on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1. Keep watching. You're watching the interview section of Take on Tech, and in today's interview section, we are looking at key developments in the technology ecosystem in 2021. Now, Walubengo, before we went on break, you talked about Zuri,
the
how
Safaricom
Zuri answers your consumer questions.
Yeah.
What does that mean in terms of jobs for those 50 people you have said that Zuri is replacing?
Yes, unfortunately, those 50 people will lose their job to Zuri. Just like in the banking sector, when we introduced the ATM machines, cashiers had to go home, a good chunk of them anyway. It's inevitable that as you onboard technology, some of the old routine workers will either need to be retooled for new positions, or if they can't cope, they will have to be retrenched. However, in the total sum of it is that whereas you may lose 10 jobs, digital space may create 20 others. Okay, and the 10 people going home, half of them may get retooled and be able to take up part of the 20 new digital jobs that have been created. So I remember this argument is common. In the 90s, when we were in campus, the president then actually stopped internet, you know, from Kenyan territory. And even before internet, they were fighting computers because secretaries were now moving from typewriters to computers. And the fear was we'll lose our jobs. So it's a constant debate, but the answer to it is that yes, you lose 10 jobs, but you'll create 20 more. Yeah.
Okay, now in 2020, COVID hit the world. And we were in, the lockdown was almost for a full year.
Yes.
2021, Kenyans expected that 2020 December, COVID was going to come to an end, and 2021, life would come to normal. Please comment, in what ways does COVID continue to impact, or in what ways did COVID continue to impact the tech sector?
In a big way. I mean, and I'm one of the few people who appreciate the COVID tragedy. And I speak from a personal experience. I teach at Multimedia University, and for years we have had a technology platform called e-learning platform where we could teach students remotely, but we never used it because there was no trigger to use it. Yet it's a good platform. Even when you're teaching physically, it's a platform that can allow the teacher to keep assignments for students, allow them to register their presence, among other benefits, seat cards and what have you. But we never used it. But when COVID struck, we thought it will actually go away after 3 months, so we didn't open. After 6 months, it's still not gone away. Wow, we started getting pressure from private universities. Our students were asking, this is happening there, what are you guys doing? We were still saying, let's wait, it will go away. 9th month is when we realized this thing is not going away. And the pressure from parents and students was saying, our colleagues in the private universities have finished a year. We joined as first years, then they're moving to second year, as we're still in first year. So we had to make a decision to go online. And I speak from an educational perspective, but the same experience must have been felt in the other sectors, whether it's health, whether it's the hospitality industry. Most restaurants never thought they could receive orders online, use Uber to deliver them to customers at home. So COVID really changed our business systems. Even the health, who could have thought that you could do remote consultation? And again, I speak from experience. My own wife in Bungoma, my own mom in Bungoma, she's old and has medical issues. She gets to be visited by her specialist from Nairobi every month online. Yeah, and that's because of COVID. Before COVID, she had to travel to Eldoret Referral Hospital physically because nobody conceptualized the idea that you could have online medical consultations. Yes, it's been there for 20 years. It's not a new thing, but COVID made it a reality. And I hear people talking of going back to normal. The message is that this is the new normal. There is no going back. The restaurant that is selling online is not going to say COVID has stopped, so let's switch off the online machines. Instead, they will say COVID has stopped, but let's maintain the online revenues to complement our physical revenues. That is the direction that will happen. People will retain that online experience and leverage on that to basically create new opportunities. Yeah.
So there's going to be new ways of doing new stuff.
Yes, as well as the old stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Walubengo, for gracing the interview section of Take on Tech. That's it from us, from the interview section. My name is Grace Githaiga. Please continue following us on our social media handles. And that's at KBC Channel 1, hashtag Take on Tech.
In our Innovators Club, we try to show you that technology doesn't have to be too technical. It can be as easy as 1, 2, 3. Check out what we have for you today. We have come to a close of today's show, but remember, you can still take part in today's conversation. We have asked you, what are some of the changes that you foresee in Twitter after Elon Musk's takeover? Talk to us. The hashtag to use is TakeOnTech at KBC Channel 1. You can talk to us on our fan page at TakeOnTech. My personal handle where you can interact with me is Stephanie_Ayieta. That is on Instagram, or Stephanie Ayieta across all other social media platforms. How about we meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, bye-bye.